Hi everyone, and welcome to our live event for this week with our Facebook group, Women Healing from Emotional Abuse with Power, Passion, and Pleasure. And I'm so happy to welcome you here. Hopefully some of you newbies will be watching some of the videos. The other older, we do a Facebook Live every week, and they're all posted in the chat of the group. So if you want to go back and look at any of our previous Facebook Lives, please do that. So my name is Ailsa Kepi, and I am a sex educator, but also a somatic body worker, and my passion is to help women to overcome self-esteem and self-confidence issues through getting to know their bodies. So I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. We are discussing a topic that was voted on last week as being really popular. So hopefully it's still popular this week. It was, what is the true cost of staying stuck? And by stuck, I mean staying stuck in the patterns that you have embodied from going through emotional abuse and emotionally abusive relationships in general. They set up a pattern, a physiological response pattern in our actual body. So, you know, if it feels like you're just going over and over the same patterns, you attract the same type of partners, you can't seem to get out of the rut of being the victim in your relationships, then, you know, that's the being stuck part. Again, a lot of women in the group are posting about their particular situations now, and a lot of abusive situations coming out, and really my heart goes out to all of you. I want you to know that you're really supported, and I hope that this group can give you some feeling that you're not alone, and that there are other women out there that have made the kind of shifts that really can change you know, from being over and over in the same relationships, between having that trauma bonding and all of that stuff. You really can change that. And I work with women all the time on that kind of, you know, really shifting those patterns. So if you're feeling stuck in an actual relationship and it's abusive, there's lots of practical help that you probably need to get your hands on to get out of that. So, you know, I'm not going to deal with how you get out of an abusive relationship per se, but what are the costs of staying stuck in the pattern? And if you're stuck in the relationship still, what is the pattern that keeps replaying, that keeps telling you, I don't want to get out, I don't need to get out, you know, I'm okay here, I can handle it, you know, I'm safer here than I am out in the rest of the world, nobody else will want me. What are those thoughts that just keep replaying in your head that keep you stuck? So I've got a couple things or a few things to share about this topic that I thought was really worth doing a Facebook Live on, and I hope you guys will resonate. And again, please comment and share your stories, share your resources, for, you know, help each other. But the price of staying in an abusive relationship, or even staying in the mindset that you invite abuse, is not only affecting you, it's affecting, you know, not just your self-esteem, it affects your finances. A lot of you have shared how, you know, your partner or whoever's abusing you, if it's a child, you know, they might be draining your finances. They might be controlling your finances. So it's your finances, your self-esteem, your confidence, your work. A number of you, and this is common, that, you know, you get so engrossed in the trauma of the relationship, or in the, you know, the depression of, you know, if you have left but you're still stuck in that, you're depressed, you know, you have anxiety, you have PTSD. All of these things affect your work. Your health for sure comes into it, and really, you know, it's priceless. All the cost of staying stuck in all of these things is just, it's your entire life. So I'm hoping that this will, really hit home and drive home the fact that, it's not just the cost of, oh, it's just me and I'm, I'll be okay. It's the cost to you, your health, your money, your kids if you have kids, the rest of your family, the friends that maybe don't get to see you anymore. The kind of gift and sharing that you could offer to the world is going to we're going to miss out from that. So all of these things come into it. And researchers have found the following symptoms in patients of abuse and trauma. So these are some of the symptoms, the cost of this kind of relationship. Acute anxiety, depression, avoidance, memory loss, numbing out, loss of interest in normal activities, feelings of detachment, like you're just not in the real world, sleep disturbances, irritability, loss of concentration, feeling jumpy or easily startled, feelings of guilt and shame, feelings of mistrust, feelings of hopelessness, and feeling alienated and alone. So all of those are the symptoms of patients that they've found that have been through abuse and trauma. And anyone that's been through an emotionally abusive relationship, even if it's not physical at this point, has probably some symptoms that are very similar to PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So, the cost of, you just go through that list and, watch this video again if you want, and just listen to that list and think about all of those symptoms playing havoc in your life. What is the cost of being numbed out to what's going on around you? You can't be emotionally available to your kids. You can't, bring your best self to work. You can't even notice when you're getting beaten down even more. What is the cost of having memory loss? You're not going to be able to hold down a job, maybe. You're not going to remember your doctor's appointment or your counseling, or, it's just going from bad to worse. Join the dots. What is the cost of having anxiety? I personally don't have too much anxiety in a day-to-day basis, and that wasn't one of the things that I went through, but I've seen a lot of clients that have gone through anxiety, and it can really, really make your life go from out here to right down here. If you have anxiety, you don't want to go out, you don't want to be social, you don't want to, you're too scared to take a job interview, you don't want to travel, where is your life? So, all these things, sleep disturbances, that affects everything. And all it comes down to too is your health, right? So many of you have shared that you have health conditions that have come up because of this. Maybe you get high blood pressure, diabetes, chronic pain. Again, fibromyalgia. All of these things are a lot to do with living under constant stress and, living in an abusive relationship, or living with that mindset of how do I get out of this same pattern? That can cause long-term stress. And it causes things to happen in your body, like breaking down things, so you can't end up having the healthy, vibrant thing that you would want. So, the aftermath of an abusive relationship can be like PTSD. So, you think about people coming back from war, military, people with PTSD. What is a lot of them end up living on the street. A lot of them end up addicted to drugs. A lot of them end up alcoholics. A lot of them end up with failed relationships. A lot of them end up not being able to be there for their kids. And this is similar, really similar to women that have lived in abusive relationships. They have the same things happening to them. So the effects of abuse remain with us long after the torment is over, and they follow us along in our lives even after after that really abusive relationship, we can often end up in similar relationships again and again and again. So what is the cost of living with that kind of abuse? What's that cost versus the cost of leaving? Like, this is also an interesting question. So the cost of staying, we've kind of been through, is basically your health, your life, your work, your kids, your relationships, everything. So that's kind of priceless, right? And when you talk about the cost of leaving, this can also be scary. And if you are still in an abusive relationship and you're thinking about leaving, it's a really good idea to put in place, or try to start putting in place, some funds, some finances to help you on your way. Because there was a couple of things, case studies done about how much it cost women to leave a relationship, and it can be thousands of dollars, just to get maybe you have to find a new place to live, maybe you have to moving costs, again, like counseling or any kind of help to get through that period, maybe lost revenue from work, days off that you need to take while you're adjusting to the new situation. All of that can come into it. So the cost of leaving can be prohibitive to some people, and they're like, well, I'd rather, I don't have the resources to leave. So I don't have an answer for you there, but I just want you to look at the cost of you staying. What is that costing you in terms of your health and your relationships and your future and your work and your happiness and everything, compared to a few $1,000s, which honestly, if you get resourceful and you put together some stuff, you can do. You definitely can do. And I just want to put it out there. I looked on the website quickly. I haven't done a lot of research, but there is a website out there to help women that are victims of domestic abuse. It's called Make It Our Business, and I think it's makeitourbusiness.com. And it helps you explain to your workplace what you're going through and help get them on board. A couple of you have shared in the group that you're having difficulty at work because your partner is kind of following you, stalking you at work. So these kinds of issues can be helped. If you want to take a look at makeitourbusiness.com, they have some information, free information for the employers. So that can also be a helpful resource for you to kind of put in place. You really need to put in place your resources so that the cost of leaving is not as much as the cost of staying. So I'm just gonna give you a couple of statistics here. An estimated 4.5 million women in the U.S. are abused by an intimate partner each year, and that covers physical and emotional abuse. But that is a lot of women. That's a lot. And that cost to our society, the cost of supporting those kind of women and dealing with the medical costs and the legal costs and all of that, and maybe the kids in foster care, whatever has to happen, the cost is $3 to $5 billion that we are spending trying to help women that have been in domestic abuse. So, lost wages as well from women that are just not able to go to work because of whatever, whether they have emotional, mental, or physical injuries. This is a lot. That's a lot of money. And that's a lot of, man hours, and that's a lot of human lives. So the physical, the psychological, the emotional, and the financial costs to women and their children are basically immeasurable. We can't even measure it. Having women be in these situations, or anyone be in these situations, but here we're focusing on women that are being abused, it's costing us so much to maintain a system that makes that okay. So in this group, I really want to call to the women that are here, because I know you guys are the ones that you're really strong. You have a lot of inner strength. You wouldn't be able to keep this kind of energy going. You wouldn't be able to keep going, even just surviving this kind of emotional abuse, if you weren't. So let's look at what inner and outer resources we can get together to either get out of the abusive relationship, to support women once they have got out of the relationship. How do we rebuild our confidence? How do we rebuild our self-esteem? How do we repattern our physiology so that we're not in a trauma response all the time? And how do we, help them if they have abuse problem, addiction problems, or anything else that come up because of being in this pattern over and over again? And again, I can't even say how much it costs you personally and all of us as women and all of us as a society to have this many people affected and kept down by this kind of emotional manipulative abuse, narcissistic abuse. So this is obviously a very passionate topic for me, and I have offered before, and it's the offer is out there, that any of you that feel ready to get out of this pattern, that you really want to break out of this pattern, you want to find a new way to get to know, what you think, what you want, who you are, what your dreams are, what your visions are, how to have the confidence, and the skill to communicate that, and to step out in the world as a new woman, if you will. Whichever of you are ready for that kind of a conversation, that clarity, please, I'll put my link on there. Please book a call. It's a new link now. I have it on a page, so it's www.ailsakepi.com/apply, and you can apply to book a call with me. It's absolutely free. Some of you have asked. It's free to talk to me. Please call me. Talk to me about your situation. I'll give you 45 minutes to an hour of my time. We'll go through what your situation is, and we'll go through, exactly what your situation is, exactly what it would take to get you from a place of pain, of, being stuck, to a place of freedom and confidence, and being able to move out in the world as a new experience, and be able to have really healthy relationships. So if you're interested in that, I'll put the link there. Book a call. Let's get on the phone. Let's chat. See if anything, if I feel there's anything I can offer you, I will definitely offer you. If I have any other resources, I'll pass those along. I would love to just get a better picture of where you all are. I really appreciate all the shares and all the stories. Again, my heart goes out to all of you, and I hope you do feel supported. It feels like we're creating a really great community here, and we can definitely change some of this. So have a wonderful day. Really watch this again if you need to. Really let it hit home how much it's costing you to stay stuck, and how much, what would it cost you to change, and which is more. And, you can always make a choice. All right, so I'm gonna sign off for there. If you guys, there's a couple people that have sent me possible topics for Facebook Lives, and I'd love to hear your ideas. So send me any other ideas you would like me to talk about on our weekly Facebook Lives, and feel free to keep posting your stories and, inspirational quotes and anything that you feel would be supportive to the other women in this group. All right, and my support and my love to all of you, and we'll talk soon.